And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We have a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/Takes by Fans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google. I don't know. Y'all know the podcast platforms. We're on most of them, all the good ones at least. If you're listening to podcasts and you go to search us and you don't find us, maybe you should find a new podcast provider because you're probably not using a good one. So, alrighty. Today is a big old Tuesday. We got the cash and trash list for the NFL. Hey, we got championship level cash. We got championship level trash to talk about today. So we're doing that today on the show. We're also going to be looking at the our power rankings in the NFL. I know I said we were going to do that last week, and I don't think we ever ended up getting around to it. So we are definitely going to try and remember to do it here today at the end of the show. So that's what we got. Breaking down the NBA too. And so let's just jump right into it with the stories of the day. Here we go. First one, Bruce Arians. Little quote here. Buccaneers defense will, quote, help a little bit more on Tyreek Hill when they rematch in the Super Bowl, because if you didn't remember, the Bucs and Chiefs faced Week 12, and Tyreek Hill absolutely obliterated the defense. It seemed like there was absolutely no defense out there in general. The man had 13 catches for 269 yards, almost 300 yards receiving. Do you understand how ridiculous that is, folks? So Bruce Arians, and he also had 3 touchdowns to go along with that. So yes, Bruce Arians is a little concerned about Tyreek Hill in the biggest game of Bruce Arians' entire career here. Finally getting to coach a Super Bowl, and he's got the pieces around him. So he just knows if he can stop Tyreek Hill, the Bucs will have a pretty solid chance of winning. So we'll see what Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator for the Bucs, kind of comes up with this to stop Tyreek Hill, because whatever he did in their first meeting did not work at all, even a little bit. So completely going back to the drawing board here, Bucs. They got 2 weeks to try and find out something to do with Tyreek Hill. Honestly, I don't know. I've been watching him all season. I've been telling y'all he's the number 1 wide receiver since I think probably week 1. But honestly, I don't even know how to stop him. If you double him, you're going to leave Travis Kelce wide open, and that's going to be a problem, obviously. If you double Tyreek Hill, that's probably meaning you don't have a spy on Patrick Mahomes, so now he's running wild on you. So it's really a lose-lose situation. Triple team him. I mean, maybe just, you know what, we're just going to stop him. That's it. We're just going to stop him, and if we lose by, everybody else catching, then I guess we have to live with it, but I know we're not going to lose by Tyreek Hill, so I don't know what the answer is. They've got 2 weeks to figure it out, and God bless them, because this is a tough challenge, truly. Alrighty, DK Metcalf coming out with a little quote here on why, the Seahawks kind of started to go downhill. They were one of the top teams the first, 6-7 weeks, and then everything went downhill. So DK Metcalf thinks that the Seahawks offense was too predictable. Quote right here says, run the ball, go deep. And folks, this is a real thing. Your offense being too predictable. And another quote here to go along with it, quote, teams just started to figure us out. And yes, this is a reality in the NFL, and I'll bring up the perfect example. Adam Gase, when he was with the Dolphins, I can still tell you exactly how every single drive was going to go. Run on first down that picks up 0 to 1 yard. Second down is a wide receiver screen that picks up 0 to 1 yards. Now we're looking at 3rd and 8. You pass the ball, but I mean, 3rd and 8s are hard to convert. That's why, even Aaron Rodgers struggles with 3rd and 8s. Tom Brady struggles with 3rd and 8s. So long 3rd downs are hard to convert. That's why Adam Gase never had success. That's why none of the offenses that he's ever coached have success, because he's very predictable in his play calling. And we see it right here with DK Metcalf. Run the ball. And now you're looking at, 2nd or 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6, and they're going deep. I mean, it's predictable at this point. So This explains exactly. I even think we may have even said it when we were kind of trying to figure out why the Seahawks were really just going downhill every single week. I think we said that their offense was just getting found out. So the fact that DK Metcalf has the same insight as us, just kind of reaffirms what we're saying, that, we actually know what we're talking about most of the time. We'll see. The Seahawks got rid of their offensive coordinator. Maybe they switched some things up, but there's really no reason for this offense to be struggling. They've got pieces everywhere. You got Russell Wilson, great, pretty good running game with Chris Carson. And, they got DK Metcalf in Dallas, that other running back, and they still got Tyler Lockett, and they have a tight end. There's really no reason for the offense to decline and struggle as much as it did. So we'll see what it's like next season. New offensive coordinator. Hopefully they spice some things up, and the offensive play calling is not predictable anymore. Alrighty, let's play this. I absolutely love this, folks. Can you talk about, sportsmanship and just being there and just being the guy and, just leaving it all on the field and going into battle with the guys. Here it is. Josh Allen made sure to hug his teammates after a hard-fought loss against the Chiefs. And not only is he going there hugging him, but the players are also embracing him as well. So, this just speaks so much volume of how great a leader is and how much respect he has on this Bills team. Look at him. Everybody is, slapping him up. Nobody's not slapping this man up. This man gets off the bench and actually stands up to hug Josh Allen. He's literally going through the entire offense. This man is a true leader. I love everything about this in the Bills. Hey, you got a good one in Josh Allen, truly, folks. This is just great to watch. This is so freaking great. I literally get chills watching this, folks. I absolutely love it when you've got a true leader on your team and everybody buys in. This is how you win championships. This is how you build a dynasty. This is how you build a culture. Every team should be taking notes on this Bills team on what Sean McDermott's going to do. Every player should be taking notes on what Josh Allen is doing right here. I absolutely love everything about this. There's reasons why the four quarterbacks right now, the four quarterbacks that were in the championship games are all great leaders. Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen. There's a reason why they get this far almost every single season, and then we look at some other players that really aren't team players or really, motivating the team or being that true leader, and, they don't make it to the playoffs. They win 9 games a season. There's none of this going on the sideline, so it just speaks so much volumes. I love everything about it. Josh Allen, he's fantastic, folks, truly in every single category of what you want to be a competitor, a professional, a leader. He's all of that. So, it's unfortunate that it didn't work out for the Bills this season, but you've got the pieces, you've got the talent, you've got the leadership. It's just unfortunate that the Chiefs are just so much more skilled than literally every other team in the league. It is truly unfortunate. So, Bills fans, so much to be celebrated and look forward to. So, Josh Allen, true leader. Love it. Alrighty, in our conspiracy theory is still looking good here in Alabama. Our theory is that Nick Saban is looking for an out at Alabama, and he wants the program to go down in flames after he leaves, so he gets praised even more. We saw the first one, Bill O'Brien, a hire for Alabama for the offensive coordinator, and then we just get another hire here for Alabama, and guess who it is, folks? Doug Marrone. Yes, Doug Marrone is now the offensive line coach for Alabama. He was the head coach for the Jags. He has never been successful in the league as a head coach. Back with the Bills, never really got anything done. Definitely didn't do anything here with the Jags, and now he's on a coaching staff with Bill O'Brien. Folks, what is Nick Saban thinking? What is he thinking? Are these actually coaches? Are they actually good and just can't do it at the highest level at the NFL? Maybe they will be better in college, the college program. But I really think this is the theory here. Nick Saban's looking for an out. He's kind of getting the worst coaches you can for an organization. So once he leaves, they either promote either Doug Marrone or Bill O'Brien to the head coach. The program starts to flounder, and now we see, oh my God, Nick Saban, he's such a genius. He's a recruiting genius. He's fantastic. It's all him. That entire program was all Nick Saban, so watch out for it. This could be Nick Saban's last year coaching Alabama. This is something that we're going to be following until, obviously next season, but really everything's lining up for this to be kind of a farce hire here for Alabama. So we will definitely keep an eye on it. I don't know what other pieces out there that Nick Saban can add to this Alabama team to make them worse. I'm trying to think. I don't know of any right now from the NFL, but Adam Gase. If Adam Gase goes to Alabama, then we'll know for certain that Nick Saban is literally tanking the program. I can't wait for Adam Gase to be signed for Alabama. Can't be the offensive coordinator, can't beat the offensive line coach, but we all know he's the quarterback guru, folks. So it wouldn't surprise me if Nick Saban takes a shot at trying to get Adam Gase to Alabama. Alrighty, let's move on to our last story. And this goes back to last night. An NBA game was postponed. The Spurs-Pelicans game had to be pulled. And this is the reasoning they give me. I've tried to read this multiple times, and I still don't even understand what this means. So here it is. I'm just going to read the entire tweet. Sources tell Woj and me that the issue with the postponement in the Spurs-Pelicans game is with a potential coronavirus exposure to a non-team member of the traveling parties of both teams in recent days. The NBA is taking extra precautions with these situations. So none of these teams had the kind of mandatory 8 players of everybody not being close contact, so they couldn't do the game. And it's a non-team member of the traveling parties. What does that even mean? I don't even know. Why is there a non-team member in the traveling party anyway? I don't get it. So this is kind of why the NBA is having so many problems here with the COVID. Maybe their ruling is a little bit too strict, because I don't even know what this means, folks. So keep an eye out on, more postponements here of the NBA season. It really doesn't seem like it's been slowing down any. What are we, kind of almost a solid month into like all this kind of heavy COVID postponements in the NBA, postponing game after game after game. It's like every day there's at least one. So truly unfortunate. They still haven't gotten it figured out, and I really do not understand why the NBA is having so much trouble. They literally had an entire half season to get prepared for this. They locked everything down in a bubble, and nobody was thinking about what we're going to do next season. Nobody was thinking ahead. I mean, the NFL literally only had 2 bad weeks throughout an entire, 19 weeks into it, the NFL season at this point, and they had 2 bad weeks? That's it? And the NBA can't even get out a solid month without having multiple postponements of games. So keep an eye out on these. It's truly unfortunate. That's kind of why we haven't really been doing a lot of money makers. It's just like who's going to be in, who's going to be out, what game's going to get postponed, who's the next victim of COVID. It's starting to get a little bit too much. Definitely frustrating. So hopefully they start to clean it up, because it's not looking good so far. Alrighty, those are all the stories that we had to cover for today. So now let's switch over to the NBA a little bit. A lot of pretty good games on yesterday. Let's quickly go through them, and then we'll break them down a little bit more in depth. And here we go. The first one, 76ers and the Pistons. And the 76ers lose against the Pistons. But don't freak out too much. Joel Embiid didn't play for the 76ers. So obviously, well, not obviously. I mean, the 76ers without Joel Embiid should really still have gotten it done over the Detroit Pistons. So we're going to have to look at really what happened, what went wrong, who didn't step up for the 76ers. I'm guessing it's Danny Green who didn't step up. I'm guessing Ben Simmons probably floundered without Joel Embiid, didn't know what to do in the offense. And then we'll also have to look at Blake Griffin. What is this man doing? Did this man have a great game? Did this man put up like 30 points finally, and that's why the Pistons finally got a win? Probably not, but we'll see what happened there. Alrighty, Raptors and the Pacers. Pacers getting the win. Raptors kind of falling back. I don't think Pascal Siakam played against. We'll have to double check that. But Pacers getting the win, and I think they did it without Sabonis. So very well done. A huge, huge win for the Pacers here, 129-114 over the Raptors. Magic and the Hornets. Magic getting back on track here with the win. Like to see it. We'll have to keep tabs on what happened with this Hornets team. Gordon Hayward, 24-5-4, as we're seeing right here. Very good production from him. But we'll see why they floundered else. Nets and the Heat, and oh my goodness, did these two teams have trouble scoring the ball. Holy cow, nobody could hit from three, but the Nets get it figured out down late to win the game, 98-85. All right, Lakers versus the Cavs, and the Cavs, I mean, they battled the Nets very, very closely, won both games, and now, you know, you would think the game would be competitive against the Lakers, and it was, but it's LeBron James, baby, all game long, carrying the Lakers to a win, so we'll be breaking him down a lot. Lakers get the win, 115-108. Nuggets and the Mavs, and the Nuggets, they're on like a 7-game win streak. Oh my goodness, they're absolutely magnificent right here early on in the season. Let me get an official streak count for them. 4-game winning streak. Absolutely great here. I thought it was a little higher, but 4 is still definitely respectable here. Mavericks, I mean, holy cow, definitely floundering here this season. Another loss for them. They're just an 8-9 team, nothing special. Luka's great, everything else is pretty meh. Kristaps Porzingis is great, but once again, everything else is just meh. And the Mavericks get another loss, 117-113. Celtics getting back on track. Well, you know why? Because Jason Tatum's first game back, baby. Of course they're going to win when you got Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So the Celtics beat the Bulls 119-103. Timberwolves and the Warriors. Warriors absolutely blowing out the Timberwolves. That's not a shock. Timberwolves, Pistons are the two worst teams in the league. And the Warriors, when Steph Curry is hot, almost unstoppable. And that man was hot last night. And then the last game, Blazers and the Thunder. And the Blazers are really kind of floundering here. I get it. No CJ McCollum, no Yusuf Nurkic. But you still have to find ways to get it done because you still have Damian Lillard. You still got Damian Lillard. So, I mean, you've got the superstar where the Thunder don't. So you still got good pieces here. Still got decent bench pieces. No excuses that the Blazers should be losing against the Thunder, but they did it. 125-122. Unfortunate for the Blazers. Alrighty, now let's go game by game. Break down it a little bit more in depth. Seeing, who's impressing us, who's not. Breaking down the scores. Here we go. We'll go back up top here to the 76ers and the Pistons. And I'm a little disappointed in the 76ers. We put them very high in our power rankings, our first power rankings of the season right here. Putting them at number 3. And, Joel Embiid is a real big reason why we have them at number 3, and I get all that. But really, they really should not have lost here against this Pistons team. I mean, look at this. I mean, they just put Dwight Howard into the starting lineup. So you got Seth Curry, Ben Simmons, Dwight Howard, Tobias Harris, Danny Green. And I think I like that starting lineup better than Jeremy Grant, Blake Griffin, Mason Plumlee, Wayne Ellington, and DeLon Wright. I mean, I think I'd still like the 76ers starting lineup without Joel Embiid. So let's see what happened here with the 76ers. Start here right at the top with Danny Green, only 6 points, no assists, 1 rebound in 22 minutes of play. Definitely not stepping up. He shot well, but he didn't take a lot of shots, and he really did nothing all game, not even on the defensive end, as we see a minus 19. So he only took 4 threes. He shot 50%, which is good. But at the end of the day, he still only put up 6 points and no assists and 1 rebound. So he wasn't really doing anything out there, a true non-factor. Tobias Harris, really the only one that kind of maintained what they do, stepped up a little bit, 25 points, 7 rebounds, and he shot 50% from the 3 and 52% from the field. So this man, had a good game, but nobody else was giving this man help. Dwight Howard, 5 points, 4 rebounds. He was a minus 23, a defensive liability out there in the starting lineup, not stepping up. Hate that. Ben Simmons, 11 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, really just getting lost. Doesn't know what to do out there. Now, he plays great defense. That's why we like Ben Simmons. That's kind of the only thing he does at an exceptional level. Can't really score the ball. Can't really be a true facilitator on the floor, but he plays good defense. So a -2 in 21 minutes of play, starting lineup, we can definitely get behind that. Definitely in a loss, but he's got to start stepping it up. I mean, he's the superstar without Joel Embiid on the floor. So yes, Ben Simmons needs to start stepping up. He needs to start finding what he can do good in this offense. And without Joel Embiid, he was just a chicken with his head cut off. Unfortunate. And then we get Seth Curry, him not stepping up either. Only 7 points from him, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, and he shot 25% from 3 and 20% from the field. So Seth Curry didn't have a good game. Ben Simmons didn't have a good game. Dwight Howard didn't have a good game. Danny Green didn't have a good game, all because Joel Embiid is not on the floor. If you are ever thinking, 20 games into the season, who is the MVP in the NBA, I think this game clears it up. It's Joel Embiid, folks. When he is not on this team, they lose to the Pistons. The Pistons, absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Alrighty, let's try and celebrate some bench players here for the 76ers. We get 10 points by Shake Milton. Can definitely get behind that. Tony Bradley, 12 points. Tyrese Maxey, 17 points. So at least some players were trying to get it done on the bench, but these starters flopped very, very hard without Joel Embiid. Not a very good sign at all. Alrighty, why did the Pistons win? Who went off for the Pistons? Well, I already like their starting scores, so here we go. Jeremy Grant, 25 points, 8 rebounds. That's what we love to see. Shot well from 3, shot well from the floor, 40% or 46% from the field, 50% from 3. Got to the line 10 times and hit them all. Well done, Jeremy Grant. Blake Griffin. All right, at least Blake Griffin didn't step up, because then I would have been a little upset if Blake Griffin's finally starting to step up, but nobody in the 76ers could, so definitely like this man, that this man is still struggling here. 7 points, 4 rebounds. He shot 25% from 3, 25% from the field. I mean, this man's game is not good. 3 turnovers to go along with all he did in this game. So Blake Griffin still not doing good. All right. Mason Plumlee, 10 points, 10 rebounds. Hey, that's what he's there to do. Wayne Ellington, 20 points. Very well done. Delon Wright, 28 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds. Shooting 66% from the field. Absolutely magnificent. And 50% from the 3. Got to the line 9 times, 8 shots. So very, very well done by Delon Wright here. Absolutely magnificent. And then they only had just, one lone double scorer in the bench. Josh Jackson, 12 points. So very well done by this Pistons team. All their starters really stepped up, except for Blake Griffin. I mean, but we can count that. I mean, we don't expect anything from Blake Griffin now, which is kind of unfortunate. So 76ers, we're giving them a little bit of a pass here because Joel Embiid's not in the starting lineup, but I think I might have to drop him in our power rankings just because of this performance. It's not good, not promising. Alrighty, let's go on here to Raptors and the Pacers, and the Raptors back to losing. Classic Raptors. As I said, kind of when we were prefacing all the games, Sabonis leaves the game after the first quarter with a little knee injury, so he only had 11 points, and the Pacers still got it done. So without Sabonis, they have obviously traded away Victor Oladipo. He hasn't been here in a couple of games, but who stepped up big here? Well, Malcolm Brogdon, 36 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds. Shoot, oh my goodness, what a performance. 58% from the field, 60% from 3, got to the line 14 times, hit 13 of them. An absolute monster game by Malcolm Brogdon because Sabonis, leaves in the first quarter, after the first quarter, so this man steps up. This is what I want to see. Players stepping up. Oh my God, 76ers. I still cannot not think about that game. I mean, what an absolute garbage performance that was. But at least we get, good stepping up here by Malcolm Brogdon here. Very well done. Jeremy Lamb, 22 points off the bench. Absolutely love it, along with 7 rebounds. Aaron Holiday, 10 points off the bench. Goga Bitadze, 10 points off the bench. Very well done. And let's go back to the starters because there was some good action there as well. Miles Turner, 21 points, 10 rebounds. And then Domantas Sabonis, as we said, only the 11 points. But very well done. Brogdon stepping up big. Alrighty, let's try to find out what is going wrong with the Raptors. Well, we see that they don't have Pascal Siakam. He's still out. So, I mean, he's nothing, great. He really hasn't been consistent since the last season in the bubble. But he's still, a threat on the floor, somebody you have to guard and respect as a three-point shooter. So when he's not out there on the floor, definitely they start to get a little bit worse. This team they're really not as deep as they once were, really not deep at all, and they really need all their starters to put up 20-point plus if they want to have a chance to win. So let's see here. Kyle Lowry, 12 points, and he shot absolutely awful. Only 18% from the field, 2 of 11, folks. So he didn't get it done. Fred VanVleet, 25 points. That's exactly where you need him to be on a nightly basis. So 25 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. Actually, real great game from Fred VanVleet finally. Aaron Baines, 9 points and only 2 rebounds. That is not going to get it done for the big man. I can definitely guarantee you that. Norman Powell notches 24 points and 6 assists and 6 rebounds. Very well done by him. And then OG Anunoby, 10 points, 5 rebounds. So really kind of got killed on the glass here. Really couldn't do anything. They got out rebounded 39-45. Couldn't do anything. The big mans couldn't do anything. And, the Raptors, what we say about them, a lot of role players, and their time is finally coming to an end here. We'll see what Nick Nurse does in the future. But this Raptors team, they need the superstar, folks. Alrighty, let's move on to Magic and the Hornets, and the Magic getting back on track here. You know why? Because Aaron Gordon is back in the lineup, and he had a very, very solid game here in his first game back. 12 points, 7 assists, 11 rebounds, getting it done really on all ends of the floor. Also a plus 14 in the plus minus, so a good defensive production from him as well, which we know. Vucevic doing what he does, getting back into his rhythm now that Aaron Gordon's back on the floor. 28 points from him. 12 rebounds, 7 assists, just getting it done. Vucevic and Gordon really, carrying this team very well done. Cole Anthony, 21 points, another great contributor here. I mean, the starters really all got it done. Yes, we see James Ennis still struggling, but he only played 13 minutes. Another no-point performance by him. I think that's back-to-back games with him scoring no points or less than 5 or 7, something like that. So James Ennis definitely needs to start getting it done a little bit more. But the starters took care of it. As we say, Aaron Gordon, 12 points, Vucevic, 28, Evan Fournier, 19, and Cole Anthony, 21. And then you get Dwayne Bacon off the bench with 15. So good performance here by the Magic. Like to see them getting back on track. They were injured in the bubble. That's why they kind of floundered at the end of last season. And now this season, they're really kind of starting to pick it up where they left off before the bubble. Let's re-update the standings here, see where they're at. Currently at 8 and 10. Just because, Aaron Gordon missed a couple of games. So once, everybody's healthy for, a solid month in a row, they can start to rally off some wins here. And this is a pretty good win here to start it off against the Raptors. Alrighty, let's move on to Heat in the Nets. And, oh my goodness, the Heat need Jimmy Butler. They need this man on the floor. It's not because Jimmy Butler, puts up 30 points a game. He doesn't do that, but they just shoot better. The chemistry that they have with him on the floor, he makes the right decisions. He can kind of control the offense, and just, his energy that he brings, the leadership that, Jimmy Butler brings to the floor, it just makes everybody around him better, because the Heat could not buy a 3 to save their lives. Only shot 25% from the 3, 11 of 43, could not get it done. Let's start here with the Heat. Bam Adebayo was the only consistent here, and he's really, really coming along here, establishing himself as a superstar without Jimmy Butler on the floor. Even with Jimmy Butler, the man is still balling, but he's really putting it into perspective here. He's stepping up. He's being consistent without Jimmy Butler. So for that, we definitely praise Bam Adebayo having a wonderful season here. So 26 points for that man, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He shot 56% and even stretched the floor once with a big old three. So hey, 26 points for that man. Goran Dragic stepping up as well, kind of like what we know, what he does without Jimmy Butler on and off the floor. 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. He shot 66% from the three, 6 of 9. Absolutely fantastic. He's the one constant offensive scoring, but nobody else stepped up. Kelly Olynyk back to only 2 points. Duncan Robinson, 7 points. Kendrick Nunn off the bench, 11 points in, 34 minutes. Basically a starter at this point. 1 of 8 from 3, not getting it done. Andre Iguodala, usually, he can kind of surprise a lot of people with the threes he puts up, but, we couldn't even get that spark from him in this game. Only 5 points, 1 of 4 from the 3, but he did have 8 rebounds, so I will give him that. But the shooting is definitely taking a hit when Jimmy Butler's not on the floor, so definitely got to get him back as quickly as possible because this Nets team, they're not in the playoffs right now, folks. Where are they at? They are number 13. Holy cow, they are 6-10. They desperately need Jimmy Butler back badly because they got work to do. They are 5 spots out from that 8th seed of making the playoffs. Obviously, there's a lot of time still in the season, but you don't want to get behind as, more than you want to be behind, obviously. So, Heat, they desperately need Jimmy Butler for that kind of confidence, for that kind of on-floor general, because yes, Bam Adebayo is good, but nobody can run kind of the point and facilitate the offense the way Jimmy Butler can on this team. Alrighty, the Nets, they also had a trouble scoring as well. This was a very close game throughout. Heat had the lead for most of the game, but the Nets were able to kind of get it figured out late down the stretch in the fourth quarter. James Harden hitting some clutch shots down late, so very well done. The big three, Kevin Durant 20 points, James Harden 20 points, and Kyrie Irving 6 points. The scores are pretty decent here. Spreading the ball around, everybody getting their touches. Kevin Durant took 21 shots, James Harden took 10 shots, and Kyrie Irving took 17. So this is why I love James Harden. And it really seems like he's sacrificing the most on this team, and he has no problem with it, it seems like, thus far. So absolutely love kind of the team mentality that James Harden is playing with, only taking 10 shots and just kind of being a facilitator on the floor. One of the big three had to be a facilitator, and James Harden is taking that role on hugely. So absolutely love that. So James Harden, 20 points, 8 assists. Kyrie Irving only had 1 assist, and Kevin Durant had 5 assists. So he's being the floor general, the point guard, in an essence. Kyrie Irving, 16 points. 35% from the field, 6 of 17, not the greatest. 8 rebounds, though, so we'll give him that. Durant, 20 points, 13 rebounds. Love it, love it, love it. He didn't shoot very well either. Literally nobody shot well in this game besides DeAndre Jordan, and that's because he's literally just going to the bucket every single time. And same things with James Harden, just choosing his shots. 7 of 10 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3, and he had, that's absolutely fantastic. So James Harden, really great shooting night, and he was passing up the shots, right? He was being the facilitator on the floor. He only took 10 shots. He could have taken a lot more with his shooting percentage. He was hitting almost everything, 70%, almost everything. So James Harden swallowing the shots to help out the team in a win, and he hit some big old shots down the stretch. Jeff Green off the bench, let's highlight him a little bit. 10 points, double-digit score. That's what we want to see. Getting to the line 6 times. So not bad here by the Heat or by the Nets. They're able to squeak out a win, and very well done. Alrighty, let's move on to Lakers versus the Cavs in LeBron, folks. Holy moly, the man he's immortal. The man cannot lose, or, I'm not even going to say what I was going to say because I don't even want to jinx it, and I don't even want to knock on wood to try and cancel it out, so I'm not even going to say it. But, if you can follow this kind of riddle, I'll say LBJINJURY. He doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. LeBron James, 46 points, 8 rebounds, shooting 73% on 26 shots, folks. The man is an absolute monster. Single-handedly carried the team. As I said, the 46 points, I mean, there's really no more points for players to be had, but Anthony Davis, second leading scorer, exactly where you want to be. Whenever LeBron James has 46 points, I mean, you basically know you're going to win. Everybody else has to just play game manager, and that's exactly what they did. So Anthony Davis, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 3 offensive rebounds. Let's give it up for that. Even who had 6 offensive rebounds? Kyle Kuzma had 6 offensive rebounds. He didn't shoot well from 3. He only took 1 3 and only put up 4 points. But the 6 rebounds I can definitely get behind, especially off the bench. And then Montrezl Harrell, another 3 offensive rebounds off the bench, but he put up 15 points. So Kyle Kuzma, please learn from this man. Can we just talk about how bad Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma are, and LeBron James carried them to a ring? Let's just keep putting that out there as much as we can, because honestly, they're still not even stepping up in their respective teams. Kyle Kuzma still with the Lakers, and Danny Green with the 76ers, who had the prime opportunity without Joel Embiid, and he still didn't do it. So, I don't know. You play with the king, and you still don't elevate your play. That's not a good sign. I can definitely say that. All right, let's get back to the starters here. Who else did good? KCP, 10 points. Dennis Schroeder, 10 points. Shooting 44% from the field, 0 of 1 from the 3. So would like to see him, shoot the 3 a little bit better. He only took 1, so I mean, the 0% is a little misleading, but definitely want to see him get back on track with the 3s. As we kind of said earlier, with the 46 points by LeBron, points are hard to come by. So what a monster game by LeBron, making sure his team won against Cleveland, because he just saw Cleveland beat the Nets twice, and LeBron was like, Kyrie Irving's on that team. He just got beat twice. There's no way I can lose this game. So the man went beast mode. So absolutely love it. Alrighty, for the Cavs, who went beast mode? Well, we got Andre Drummond. Holy cow, 25 points, 17 rebounds. 7 of those rebounds were offensive. Absolutely magnificent. C.D. Osman, I mean, LeBron loves this man. You see them, before every game when LeBron goes to revisit the Cavs, he slaps up C.D. Osman, hugs them, embraces them. Absolutely. I mean, LeBron is a big C.D. Osman fan, so like to see, him stepping up in this game against kind of probably his idol, I'm assuming. 20 points, second leading scorer, C.D. Osman, so very well done. Nothing too good throughout that, but, he put up the points. So, as we see, only 2 assists and 2 rebounds, but he did have 3 steals, so decently done there. Alrighty, Colin Sexton getting locked up. Remember, he had that big game against the in the first game of the Nets, and then started to slowly decline. And now he's back to basically his average. 17 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. He only shot 35%, so that's not the greatest. So, who else stepped up? Jared Allen, only 6 points and 5 rebounds, so not a big step up there. And then Darius Garland, 11 points off the bench. So nothing too great from this Cavs team. A lot of, obviously, role players. They don't have the superstar. If you want to say Andre Drummond's a superstar, maybe, 5 years ago, 7 years ago. Colin Sexton, he's up and coming. Jared Allen, you may be able to say he's a superstar, but he definitely needs to start getting into the starting lineup a little bit more. I get that they have Andre Drummond, but Jared Allen, the way that he can play in the starting lineup is pretty good. So the Lakers get the win behind the King, 115-108 against the Cavs. Alrighty, let's move on to Nuggets and Mavericks. And Michael Porter Jr. had himself a hell of a game, folks. Hell of a game. 30 points off the bench to go along with 8 rebounds. I mean, I absolutely love this man, folks. This man can play. He is Kevin Durant-esque, like a one step behind Kevin Durant. And he's getting back. He's getting healthy. And he's trying to work his way back into the starting lineup. And I'll tell you, 30 points off the bench, that will do it. That will definitely get you back into the starting lineup as soon as possible. Jamal Murray, 16 points. Jokic, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 0 of 2 from the 3. We see him have, kind of spotty 3-point games. This was one of them here. But at least, he knew the threes weren't falling, and he stopped taking them, getting back to, in the paint area where centers, usually belong a little bit. So 20 points by the big man. 10 points by Gary Harris, but really it was just Michael Porter Jr.'s huge 30 points off the bench, really carrying over, and he had some absolute daggers late in the fourth quarter. He hits a three-pointer with 3 minutes left to put them up 1 point, 107-106. And then when the game was starting to come down to the wire, he hits another three, extending the lead by 7, 114-107 with only 40 seconds left. So the man was clutch. He was good throughout the entire game, and love to see this man more kind of incorporated into this offense. With the Jamal Murray and Jokic show. That's really what the Nuggets are. So love to see kind of expanding the offense a little bit. And once again, Bobo back to not playing any minutes. Got to get this man heavy into the rotation. Run the starters, Jamal Murray, Jokic. Run the second team, Porter Jr. and Bobo, if that's what it has to be. But we heard Michael Porter Jr. last year in the bubble say he wants to be more involved in the offense. And we know what he can do. He shows what he can do. Just has to be a little bit more consistent, but he's still pretty consistent. He just needs to be a little bit more consistent. But they've got a lot of talent here on this team. This Nuggets team is kind of secretly deep, folks. PJ Dozier off the bench. JaMychal Green, Monte Morris. I mean, all these players can easily get you 10 points off the bench easily every single game. And then they're still not even playing Bol, a huge big who can literally stretch the floor. Not only like himself, he's like, his wingspan is ginormous. The man is like 7'5". So obviously he can stretch the floor with the size, and he's really kind of dangerous from the three. So I don't know who the head coach for the Nuggets is, but I don't think they're running the team at maximum potential. And for that, I know they're very talented, but got to get Bobo involved, I think, a little bit more. Alrighty, the Mavericks. Luka, 35, 16, and 11. I mean, folks, this is a classic Doncic game, but it's not translating to wins, and that's probably the worst part that's actually the worst part of this Mavericks team. They've got the talent, but they're not winning games. Not great defensively. Is that what it is? Because they're putting up the points, they're putting up the stats. Luka Doncic is carrying the game, carrying the team, but he's like a Russell Westbrook. These triple doubles are not translating to wins. So should we be impressed? I don't know, man. They're falling off hard early here in the season. So Doncic, 35 points, 16 assists, 11 rebounds. He shot 47%. I mean, this is a great game. This is a great game by the man. Also a +8 in the plus minus, even in a loss. That's pretty damn good, folks. If you're ever positive in a loss, you tried your hardest. So what a game by Doncic. Now their number 2 option, Kristaps Porzingis, 16 points, 6 rebounds. Little light in the rebounds a little bit. Tim Hardaway Jr., 19 points, 7 rebounds. We see Willie Cauley-Snead, the center here, only 2 points and 3 rebounds. Really not getting it done, but he was a +17, so let's cancel that out. That was actually real good defense by the man. What else do we got? Jalen Brunson, 12 points. They got James Johnson, 16 points off the bench. It just doesn't translate to a close win here. Unfortunate. Mavericks need to learn how to close out games, learn to win games in the fourth quarter, because until they start doing that, we're going to get great stats by Doncic, but, probably not even in the playoffs. Where are they at right now? I don't even think they're top 8. They're 10. They're number 10. They're 2 spots out. The Warriors have the 8th spot, not the Mavs. So, unfortunate there. They got the pieces. They just need to start putting wins together. Michael Porter Jr. is too clutch for the Mavericks to win against. Alrighty, moving on to Celtics and the Bulls, and yes sir, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown back, and did they show out? 26 points by Jaylen Brown, 24 points by Jason Tatum. That's what we know they do, folks. Daniel Tice with 19 big old points. Love to see this. And look at this lineup that they went with. We see no who did not play here? Kemba Walker did not play. So look at the starting lineup, folks. This is pretty interesting. Marcus Smart, the point guard. Jaylen Brown, the shooting guard. Tristan Thompson, the center. Daniel Tice, the 4 at the forward. And Jason Tatum, the 3 at the small forward. So, really interesting lineup that really kind of got it done. Honestly, this starting lineup could work. Holy cow. Do they even need Kemba Walker? Is Kemba Walker kind of messing with the flow a little bit? Because, they put up, how many points did they put up here? 119 points, and the starters really all got it done in kind of flourished in their spots here. So let's go over this. Marcus Smart in the point guard spot here, 13 points, 11 assists, and he shot 66%. Fantastic. Jaylen Brown, 26 points, 5 rebounds. He shot 47% from the field and 66% from the three. Fantastic as well. Tristan Thompson, we see no points, but 10 rebounds and a +9. So good defense, getting the boards. I mean, when you have all these shooters of Jaylen Brown and Tatum and Marcus Smart, Tristan Thompson doesn't need to put up the points. Now, points are obviously great, and get them when you can. But yeah, not a bad game by Tristan Thompson, just eating up on the boards. And Daniel Tice, this may have been one of his better games he's been playing. So maybe the 4 spot of Daniel Tice, not just being the true center, is more his speed. As we see, 19 points and he shot 66%. He even hit a 3, 1 of 5 or 1 of 2, 50%. So. And then Jason Tatum, obviously 24 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 47%, first game back. And this team was rolling a little bit. All right. Brad Stevens, this man can coach, folks. And, you've got the coach, you've got 2 superstars, and real great role players all around. This team can still be pretty good, folks. So. We were kind of selling the team. We were very high on them last year in the bubble. We started to sell them a little bit just because they got, a little lighter in, the scoring department with losing Gordon Hayward and Enes Kanter down low. But they're kind of making the most of what they got already. So very, very impressed. Very impressed with the Celtics winning this game. Alrighty, the Bulls, I mean, they've only got Zach LaVine. What did that man do? 30 points, 6 rebounds, shooting 58%. Fantastic. But it's just really nobody else steps up. No real starter step up. Cody White, 5 points. Daniel Gafford, no points and only 3 rebounds. If you're going to put up no points, you got to do it like Tristan Thompson and at least have 10 rebounds. Laurie McCarron, 18 points. Patrick Williams, 2 points. So really the starter's not getting it done. 2 solid bench scorers here in Otto Porter Jr. and Thaddeus Young. I mean, I feel like we talk about them all the time. How about we start elevating them into the starting rotation a little bit? Otto Porter Jr. with 13 points and 5 rebounds. And Thaddeus Young, I mean, holy moly. 16 points and 9 assists and 9 rebounds. I mean, get that man into the starting lineup, please. You've got nothing to lose. The Bulls, they're not going to make the playoffs. And, so maybe figure it out a little bit. Start winning more games. Figure out how you can retune your lineup to win games. Be like Brad Stevens. Oh, we don't have Kemba Walker. Well, let's move stuff around and, let's see how it works. And it worked very well. Coaching matters in the NBA a little bit, folks, with the lineup rotations. Truly. Alrighty, let's keep moving on here. Warriors back to getting a win. Absolutely love it. We'll start here with the Warriors. Steph Curry, 36 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. And look at this, folks, 7 of 12 from the 3. Absolutely. I mean, how do you stop this, man? 21 points just off 3-pointers alone. And we know this man is unguardable on the 3-point line. You cannot guard this man. He will shoot over you. He will shoot around you. He will shoot over you again. It doesn't matter. And they will all fall. They will most likely all fall. You can't guard them. Unfortunate for the defense. Kelly Oubre Jr., 14 points. Shot decently well from 3. 2 of 3. All right from the field, 44%. Kevin Looney getting in the starting lineup here. James Wiseman in the bench role. All right. Once again, Steve Kerr. This is what I'm talking about. Good coaches here. Brad Stevens, Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr's like, yes, James Wiseman's good, but it's not translating to wins when he's in the starting rotation. So they bring up Looney, put Wiseman on the bench, and he kind of flourished a little bit. 13 points for Wiseman off the bench with 4 rebounds. He only played 15 minutes, so that's not bad numbers by him. Alrighty, Kevin Looney in the starting lineup. He didn't really do anything great. Good defense, plus 21 in the plus-minus in 18 minutes, so I will give him that. But only 2 points, 5 rebounds, nothing spectacular. Draymond Green, 10 points, 6 rebounds. All right, we saw Draymond Green in a little bit of a scoring slump a little bit, so these 10 points is pretty good. 50% shooting. The 1 of 4 from the 3, not loving it. Definitely not loving it. Kind of doing like a Blake Griffin a little bit. Want to see this man because Draymond Green's better than Blake Griffin. I don't think anybody's doubting that. I'm not doubting that. I stand very firmly on that take. So I want to see Draymond Green start to, get that offensive going a little bit more. but he put up 10 points. So, it's better than the 4 and the 2 and the 0 that he's been putting up lately. And then look at this, Andrew Wiggins. Yes, sir, 23 points, 6 rebounds, shooting 40% from the 3 and 52% from the field. So Andrew Wiggins, it's a huge factor. When he plays well, they usually win. And when he doesn't play well, Steph Curry really doesn't have anybody else to go to. Kelly Oubre Jr., I've been really liking what he was doing early in the season, but he's kind of fallen off a little bit these last 2-3 games. So Warriors starting to get back on track here with the win. That's the most important thing. And now, these kind of scorers need to do a little bit better in getting, more consistent points. But when you get Curry going for 36, you can be a little lighter on the points. So, great overall game here by the Warriors. Absolutely love it. They took advantage of the weaker opponent in the Wolves, so we can definitely get behind that. Let's quickly go over what happened on the Timberwolves here. 30 points by Malak Beasley. Absolutely very well done. 7 rebounds, and he shot 55% from the field, so very well done there. Ricky Rubio, as we see, kind of their one superstar that they have, did not play yesterday. I'm blanking on the name. I am blanking on the name. He was with the Warriors, I believe, for a very short period. Definitely forgetting the name. The point guard. But anyway, we move on. Ricky Rubio kind of fills his spot and only 6 points, but he had 11 assists with that. Didn't shoot well, as we see, 1 of 8 from the field, only 12%. But, we know this Timberwolves isn't a great team, and they don't really have anybody good. They really don't have anybody that great. So Warriors get the win over the Timberwolves, really blowing them out 130-108. Alrighty, and then the last game to go over from last night, Thunder, Blazers, and really kind of disappointed in this Blazers team, man. Really disappointed. This Thunder's team, they've got really decent role players. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander doing really good. He's really consistent here for the squad. So let's give some credit to this man. 24 points, 6 assists, 9 rebounds, shot 66%, and 3 of 4 from the 3. So absolutely magnificent game by him. But that's kind of what we know. Even with Chris Paul there last season, really Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the one that was stepping up consistently. Luguentz Dort was the one that was stepping up consistently. So it's really no surprise that these players are still having success here, especially, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But they just don't have the closer. They don't have really the bench. They don't have that superstar anymore. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is truly a rising star, don't get me wrong, but I think it's a little premature to call him a superstar at this point. Isaiah Roby, 16 points. What do we got? Darius Baisley with 19 points. And, Theo Maledon, 6 points, and Luguentz Dort 7 points. That's just not going to get it done from the starters. But we see Mike Muscala, a huge contribution off the bench, 23 points in only 20 minutes off the bench. That's absolutely amazing. And then Hamidou Diallo. Look at this man. We haven't said his name in a while. Kind of forgot about him because we haven't been talking the Thunder a lot since they don't have that superstar. But yeah, he was also a very good role player when Chris Paul was there last season. So Hamidou Diallo, 11 points in only 21 minutes off the bench, shooting, 5 of 8 from the field. Can definitely get behind that. So this Thunder has pieces. Nobody's doubting that. They just don't have the superstar, but they do get the win. So we will give them this. We'll give them this one. Alrighty, let's go to the Blazers now, and what is going on with this Blazers team? We know they don't have, 2 big pieces, but you still got Damian Lillard, and you still got competent people in Carmelo Anthony, Derrick Jones Jr., Gary Trent Jr., Anthony Simmons. Enes Kanter is the big. You've still got competent pieces, but they're not winning these games without kind of their entire roster, and that is a little concerning, because honestly, I still like this. Which starting team would you prefer to have? Derrick Jones Jr., Carmelo Anthony, Enes Kanter, Gary Trent Jr., and Damian Lillard? Or Luguentz Dort, Darius Baisley, Isaiah Roby, Theo Maledon, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? I think we're all taking the Blazers starting lineup. But, Derrick Jones Jr., the one knock that I have, he's just not consistent. He's really not consistent at all. And that's why he hasn't been a starter on any team he's played with in his kind of young career already. So he's definitely got to step it up a lot more. These 5 points, no assists, 2 rebounds, and, starting 25, 26 minutes like we see here, that's never going to get it done. He needs to start stepping it up in the scoring department heavily. I do love watching the man. He's explosive. He's athletic as all heck. But until he starts, filling up the stat sheet a little bit more, all he is kind of he's a highlight. He's a highlight. That's all he is. You get one good highlight from him every game, maybe every other game, but he's not consistent. So unfortunate there. Everybody else really kind of stepped up scoring wise. We see Damian Lillard 26 points, Gary Trent Jr. 22 points, Enes Kanter 13 points and 22 rebounds and 7 offensive rebounds. I mean, I absolutely am one of Enes Kanter's biggest fans, honestly. One of the better bigs, and I really kind of think the Celtics letting him go was a big mistake last season. Alrighty, Carmelo Anthony, look at him stepping up 22 points, and he didn't even shoot well from 3, only 1 of 6, but shooting decently well from the field, 9 of 21, and putting up to 22 points. Derrick Jones Jr., you've got to start putting up the points. And then we get Anthony Simmons off the bench, 26 points. So there's no reason why Derrick Jones Jr. should not be putting up at least the bare minimum, 10 points. You need 10 points. All starters need at least 10, at least. So Derrick Jones Jr. here, only 5, not the greatest, and that's kind of why they lost. I mean, look at this, only a 3-point loss. Everybody else was doing their part. Derrick Jones Jr., if you're going to be a starter, you got to start putting up starting stats, and these are not starting stats. 5 points, no steals, no assists, 2 rebounds, not getting it done, truly. Alrighty. That was the NBA from last night. Let's see if we can do a moneymaker for today's action. See if we like anything good. Anything's jumping off the page. Alrighty. So only 3 games on tonight. Any primetime games? Any nationally televised games? Let's see what we get. No. Clippers, Hawks, 7:30 tip on NBA TV. And then Wizards, Rockets, NBA League Pass. And same thing with the Knicks and the Jazz. So 3 games on. What do we got? Clippers, Hawks. Clippers +5. That means that Kawhi Leonard is not playing. I think that's guaranteed. Probably even Paul George if they're getting +5 points. I would assume that Clint Capella and Trae Young are definitely playing with this spread. So yeah, with all that being said, I think we have to stay away from this game because we know a lot of Clippers players will not be playing because there is really 0 reason why the Clippers should be +5. Let me quickly see if I see any updates from my favorite Twitter account for the NBA Fantasy Labs. Definitely give them a follow. They're fantastic. They give you, who's in, who's out, who's probable. I mean, this man's going like days in advance, so he's really on top of it. He's really the first one I see, even before like Woj and all of them. So definitely check out them on Twitter if you can. If you're big into basketball betting, definitely they help you out a lot, knowing who's active and who's inactive. But I'm not seeing anything here from the last hour. So, alrighty. So we're going to stay away from Clippers Hawks just because that spread is kind of confusing, very confusing. Alrighty, Wizards and the Rockets, and the Wizards are +3. Rockets, it's nothing great. Russell Westbrook's first game back facing the Rockets, so we'll see that. Man, Wizards. Oof. Is Victor Oladipo playing? We saw John Wall finally play. Not sure if Victor Oladipo's playing. Kind of, it's tough, man. You really don't know NBA until literally like an hour before the game. That's why it's a little tougher. And it's not like football where, the team really doesn't rely on one player, and one player being out really doesn't move the spread a lot. Basketball's totally different, folks. Alrighty, and then the last game, Knicks Jazz. Knicks +11.5 here. Not a solid play, but we're gonna stay away from it just because we definitely do respect the Jazz heavily. They're I think number four in our power rankings. Knicks are a great story. Great team, great up-and-coming team, very well coached. But the Jazz, they're just more talented. So we're going to stay away from that one. And I really don't think we're getting any great value here today. Unfortunate. Keep an eye on our website, takesbyfans.com, for our moneymaker. We may kind of sit this one out maybe until kind of like 20 minutes away from game time, just because these lines are not really adding up, especially that Clippers-Hawks one. So I don't really think we're getting any great value here today. Unfortunate. Do we do one just because? Let's do one just because. Let's see. Let's go. Do we trust the Wizards? Do we trust Russell Westbrook? No, we don't. We don't trust Russell Westbrook. Yeah, I don't even know if I feel confident even like just doing one for, shits and giggles, honestly. There's really nothing great here. Nothing great. We're going to stay away. We're going to stay away from it. Alrighty. Let's head over back to the NFL. We are going to update our cash and trash list in the NFL based on the AFC and NFC Championship games from this Sunday, however you say it. Alrighty. Here we go. The cash list going into this week. We had Josh Allen. We had Aaron Rodgers. We had Stephon Diggs. Cam Akers. We have to take him off. Aaron Jones and the Bills defense. And none of these people were. None of these people continued to be cash. How about that? Unfortunately. So let's go. We'll reevaluate all these cash list members here. Do some additions because we do have some good additions here. Some solid ones. What do we got? We got 5 additions. So that's pretty good, right? 5 players being cash in a championship game. I can definitely get behind it. Alrighty, so Josh Allen. Ooh, unfortunate. He turned the ball over once, and he just didn't do enough. He didn't take that next step. I mean, the step that he took from last season to this season is the biggest step maybe in NFL history, but he still needs to take another step to get to the Super Bowl, to beat the greatest possibly team, best offensive team ever in this Chiefs team. So Josh Allen, he played well, but I really think this kind of Bills offense really clammed up in the playoffs. Now, if you want to put the blame on Josh Allen, you possibly could. Maybe, the playoff pressure getting to him, facing better, like actually good defenses, on a week-to-week, back-to-back kind of basis instead of, one good defense in week 7, then you go week 8, 9, 10, 11 without facing a good defense. Now here's one in week 12. You don't face one week 13, 14, another good defense in week 15, and that's really it. So facing good defenses back-to-back, facing good offenses back-to-back, having to score, 39 points in this game. It's tough, and you also could possibly put it on the play calling as well, Sean McDermott or their offensive coordinator, because, this offense had no problem putting up, 35, 40 points. They had no problem doing that, but here in the playoffs, they really never got their full offensive potential. Close game against the Colts, they put up like 27, 17 against the Ravens. 7 of those were a pick six, so really only 10 offensively. And then we kind of see it here. Really only 15, really only 15. We see this last kind of touchdown drive ending with 4 minutes left, if you want to count that one, but still only 21 points, and we know that's not going to get it done against a Chiefs team, because they could put up 21 points in one quarter. They could put up 21 points in half a quarter if they wanted, honestly. So just unfortunate by Josh Allen. Decent game. Good first AFC Championship game. I'll give him that. Very good first AFC Championship game. But we're talking about, Tom Brady, who's been to 10 Super Bowls. We are talking about Patrick Mahomes, who has already been to 2 AFC Championship games. So, it's just unfortunate the timing of when Josh Allen's getting good. There's just absolutely greatness in the league, and it's unfortunate because, this Bills team is very, very good. So, with all that being said, Josh Allen has to come off the cash list. Alrighty, now we go to Aaron Rodgers, and the man was good, very good, but he wasn't clutch, and because he wasn't clutch, he's not cash. He loses a game, can't get to the Super Bowl, lost to Tom Brady, but I mean, his stats were good. I mean, 33 of 48 for 346 yards. He had to be the guy because the running game got absolutely shut down really throughout the entire game. Nothing big, no big runs, no explosive runs, so Bucs were just planning to shut down the pass, and they just only had to look for the pass because they knew the running game could do nothing. So Aaron Rodgers, good game here, but not being clutch. Can't keep him on the cash list. Not converting there. I mean, we're talking about 3 straight downs inside the 10-yard line 2 times, and he can't come away with a touchdown. I mean, one touchdown, that's all he needed on 2 of those field goal drives, in the second half of the game, and he couldn't do it. So good game, not cash, not clutch. Unfortunate for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, we're not talking about, he only had 1 throw, he only had 1 real play, and then penalties back him up 10. Now we're talking about, first or second and goal from like the 21. We're not talking about that. We're talking about first and goal from the 8, second and goal from the 8, third and goal from the 8, field goal. Next time, first and goal from the 8, second and goal from the 8, third and goal from the 8. 4th down, they go for the field goal. So it's just Aaron Rodgers not being clutch, and it is truly unfortunate. So he is no longer cash. Alrighty, Stephon Diggs, and kind of same thing like Josh Allen. He didn't take that next step. Stephon Diggs has been absolutely fantastic for the Bills the entire season. 80 yards, 90 yards, 100 yards, touchdown, multiple touchdowns. He's been doing that all season. But this game, he really needed to do something more. He needed that 150-yard game, 2, 3 touchdowns, kind of like what Tyreek Hill is working with. But Stephon Diggs, only 6 catches, 77 yards, 11 targets, 6 catches. I mean, it just wasn't working. Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs this game. So truly unfortunate there, Stephon Diggs. So once again, a decent game by Stephon Diggs, but not cash. So we got to take him off. Alrighty, Cam Akers, we kept him on for 1 extra week just because of how well he played in that Rams loss last week against the Packers. Packers. Yeah. So very well done to Cam Akers. Obviously, we have to take him off the cash list, but we kept him on here 1 more week. So very, very well done, Cam Akers. Alrighty, Aaron Jones. And as we said, the Packers running game got absolutely locked up, and they really didn't kind of stick with it. We see only 6, well, they kind of did by committee, but 6 carries by Aaron Jones for 27 yards. That led the team. Not great there. Jamal Williams, 7 carries, 23 yards. A.J. Dillon, 3 carries, 17 yards. So just nothing consistent, no big explosive runs that made the Bucs kind of focus, run heavy. They could just focus pass heavy all game. That's what they did, and they win because of it. So unfortunate for Aaron Jones. Definitely. I mean, that's not even a good game. That's not even like a good game. So it's definitely not cash. Alrighty, and then the Bills defense. Well, folks, I mean, did you see what Tyreek Hill did to this defense? Obliterated it. Do you see what Travis Kelce did to this defense? Obliterated it. 172 yards for Tyreek Hill, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns for Travis Kelce. I mean, that's not good defense, folks, unfortunately. You let their 2 weapons absolutely do whatever they want against you. That's not good defense. Now, I will say the one great thing that the Bills defense did is lock up Clyde Edwards-Helaire, because we saw the first meeting this season, 169 yards by that man. He only had 7. Yeah, he went from 169 to 7. So in that aspect, the Bills defense cleaned it up. But, when you plug one hole, 2 more open up, and those holes are Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. So they held the Chiefs to 38 points. Is that good? Not really either. So Bills defense, unfortunately, not cash. So look at this, folks. A blank cash list. No. Well, don't get too concerned. We've still got some additions. So, alrighty, let's start here. We got to go to the Bucs. The Bucs game for this first edition. And we got to give it up to this defense. And, they shut down the run. They didn't really shut down Aaron Rodgers, but they shut him down when they needed to the most. And I'll tell you, I've kind of been saying it all week. I mean, let's kind of flip it, on the reverse side. We were saying, Aaron Rodgers deserves all this blame for, not converting in the red zone down the stretch. But let's give it up to this Bucs defense a little bit. I mean, bending and not breaking. I mean, they just gave up 2 straight touchdowns. The lead is starting to dwindle. Tom Brady just threw another interception, and the defense forces a 3-and-out. They're feeling good. Momentum has swung back to the Bucs. But then Tom Brady goes and throws another interception, and once again, the momentum has swung to the Packers, and the defense forces another 3-and-out. Momentum has swung back to the Bucs. They get a field goal. Momentum is staying with the Bucs. Now momentum is slowly starting to shift back to the Packers because they're on this nice drive here, 58 yards, getting into the red zone, but they hold them. They hold them to a field goal. The Bucs defense bends and doesn't break. 3 straight chances of Aaron Rodgers slinging it at the end zone, and the Bucs say, no, not even one completion. No completions, not even letting you get closer. You're going to stay 8 yards away from us. 8 yards away from the score, and we're not going to let you have it. So the defense of this Bucs team really stepped up big, especially in this kind of first field goal kind of scenario when they could have tied it up 14-14. So very well done to this Bucs team. Super easy for the Packers to win if the Bucs defense wasn't stepping up because Tom Brady was making super mistakes in the second half. But give it up for this Bucs defense. Truly, truly well done. Bending and not breaking. And hey, I can definitely get behind that. That's, one of the best things. If your defense is bending and not breaking, I can get behind it all day. Settling for field goals, getting turnovers when you need them. Absolutely magnificent. I'll take a bending and not breaking defense all day over, a defense that, is just good. A defense that is, not even letting a team get get over like the 40-yard line. I'll take the bend but don't break because you build experience. You build kind of clutch scenarios. Game management, game scenarios, you see them all, you know how to react. So yes, I would take a bend but don't break defense all day over a closeout defense, not even letting you get past, the 40-yard line. Alrighty, so Bucs defense going on the cash list for the last game of the season. We'll see, who stays on the cash list for the entire offseason, and the Bucs defense has a chance to do that. Alrighty, let's go to, now we got to go to the Chiefs game, and folks, I'm about to add everybody on this Chiefs team. Almost everybody on this Chiefs team is coming on the cash list. Let's try and do it by order. So let's start here with, Tyreek Hill. Obviously, I think he was the best person on this Chiefs team, just shredding the Bills, catching it, on the 1 yard, or catching it, on the line of scrimmage, and then just being super athletic, super agile, and still getting 10 yards, picking up the first, running behind the entire defense, still catching the ball. You cannot guard this man. You can't. It's not that, you can't because your defense isn't, up to it. It's just the man, he's unguardable, folks. So Tyreek Hill, an absolutely magnificent game against the Bills. And for that, we got to add this man on the cash list. Alrighty, going back to the Chiefs game for our next edition, and I think we've kind of held this man off the cash list a couple of times, probably our mistake, but finally here, let's add this man, Travis Kelce, 13 receptions, 118 yards, and 2 scores. Once again, when you're trying to cover Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, it's literally too much. These are almost 2 unguardable people. Everybody wants to talk about Gronk, but Travis Kelce is better than what Gronk was in his prime, which is crazy to think about. So Travis Kelce, very, very, very well done. Absolutely needs to be on this cash list. So very well done to him. Alrighty, our next edition, final edition from the Chiefs team. And then we got one more edition. But our last edition from this Chiefs team, it's got to be Patrick Mahomes. I was contemplating even putting him on here. I thought I was only going to do the receivers, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. But Patrick Mahomes, 29 of 38, super efficient, 325 yards, 3 touchdowns, no mistakes, no fumbles, no turnovers, no interceptions. Just a pure, flawless game. Championship game at home, getting the ball to your playmakers. Look at this. Tyreek Hill, 11 targets, 9 receptions. Travis Kelce, 15 targets, 13 receptions. This man, Patrick Mahomes, was placing the ball absolutely on the money. And, the catches were all great, but we have to give it up to the passes as well. So very well done, Patrick Mahomes, going on the cash list heading into the Super Bowl. This is a time where you want to be cash, folks, truly. Alrighty. And then our last edition here. Gotta kind of split this man up in half a little bit. Kind of crazy to think about, but Tom Brady, first half was absolutely on par. The multiple third down conversions, the ball placement, getting you guys 21 points in the first half. I mean, he really floundered in the second half. I'm not even really counting this touchdown that he threw because it was a fumble by the Packers that set them up on their own 8-yard line, on the Packers' 8-yard line. It's one play, real simple score. But Tom Brady, 3 interceptions in the second half, really getting nothing done. I mean, really in the grand scheme of things, the Bucks put up 3 points in the second half, folks. That's it. They got outscored 16-3 in the second half. Really should have lost a game, but as we said, the Bucks defense really kind of stepping up big. So first half, Tom Brady, 21 points. Accuracy was fantastic. Didn't turn the ball over. I mean, look at this. 4 plays, 73 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, we all know this one. 5 plays, 51 yards to Scotty Miller right at the end of half. And then the opening drive. I mean, this really set the tone for the Bucks for the entire game. Without this drive, if the Bucks went 3-and-out on the first series, I think it was going to be a blowout from that point on from the Packers. Aaron Rodgers could have been playing flawless. 0-0 game with their first chance at the ball, going up 7-0. It could have got ugly from that point because now Tom Brady's starting to force it a little bit. We saw what he did when he was trying to force it a little bit in the second half, 3 straight interceptions. I mean, he could have did that from the get-go in the first quarter, but he chose to be really, really good with the ball, absolutely precise. I mean, we'll watch more of this on Wednesday, tomorrow on the show, but look at this, 3rd and 4 pickup, 27-yard pass play, 3rd and 9, 14-yard pass play, 3rd and 7 touchdown. I mean, super clutch, not settling for field goal, something that Aaron Rodgers had to do in the second half. So, I mean, Tom Brady really played absolutely magnificent in the first half. So for that, we're going to get first half Brady on the cash list. Alrighty, so that is going to round out. That's going to do it for the cash list going into Super Bowl, folks. Bucks defense is cash. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, all cash in doing it at the biggest game of the season. And then Tom Brady in the first half was cash as well. Alrighty, let's go to the opposite side of the list, the trash list, where we got all these 2020 trash list Hall of Famers. Because if you end the season on the trash list, the only way to get off the trash list is to prove that you're not trash. So all these players having to wait till next season if they get the opportunity, because we got Mitch Trubisky on here, folks. He may not be on the roster next season. Alrighty. So far, the 2020 Hall of Fame trash list has Andy Dalton, Brandon Allen, the Dolphins, Mitch Trubisky, Teddy Bridgewater, Russell Wilson, Frank Reich, Big Ben, Mike Tomlin. And now, since these 3 players have had the week to be on the trash list, we can now elevate them to the Hall of Fame status because they haven't been playing. They did not play this week. So here we go. Lamar Jackson. Unfortunate, throwing a pick 6 against the Bills, really squandering away the game. Welcome to the 2020 Hall of Fame trash list, my friend. Unfortunate, truly unfortunate. But, I don't make the rules here on Takes by Fans. The producer. The producer does. So, hey, take it up with him. Alrighty, Lamar Jackson, 2020 Hall of Famer, trash list. All right, Rashard Higgins fumbling out of the end zone. The cardinal sin of what you don't do really turned around the game. Could have won. The Browns could have. We could have been talking about the Browns this week, folks. Could have been. But Rashard Higgins decides to fumble in the back of the end zone. So for that, welcome to the 2020 Hall of Fame trash list. If you're making it into the playoffs, you cannot be trash, folks. Trash in the regular season, I can maybe forget. I can forgive one game of trash. But in the playoffs, when everybody has to be playing at 100%, there is no room for trash. So I don't want to hear, this is absurd. You can't be putting these players on a Hall of Fame trash list because of one performance. No, I can't. It's the playoffs. This holds a lot of weight. If you're getting to the playoffs, if you're going to perform, if you're going to compete against the greatest of the greats, you can't be trash. So, unfortunate there. Alrighty, and then Drew Brees. Oh boy, the last member that we have to induct into the 2020 Hall of Fame trash class. Rightfully so. 3 interceptions. Who does that? Maybe our next trash list nominee. Maybe. So Drew Brees. Unfortunate. Alrighty, let's go to some additions. We only have one. So that's good. That's actually really good. Nobody was trash in this Bills-Chiefs game, which is really, really good. Yes, Josh Allen threw the pick, but he still played decent overall. He wasn't playing trash. The run game, I mean, yes, it didn't get going, but it wasn't like trash. It wasn't fumbling. More of the play calling. They just called a lot more passes than runs. So overall, the Bills weren't trash, just some not good running performances. Chiefs, they won the game. Really, nobody's trash when you win a game. Packers, nobody was really trash. Aaron Rodgers played really good. He just wasn't clutch. I'm not counting that as trash. The run game, once again, it really wasn't great. It didn't get anything really accomplished, but it wasn't trash. And the Bucs, they won the game, so obviously nothing trash, but there was really something that was trash in half the game. And that give you a clue on who we're doing here, what we're doing here. Well, we just put Tom Brady first half on the cash list, but Tom Brady in the second half was absolutely trash. Absolutely trash. 3 straight turnovers, 3 straight interceptions. That literally should lose you a game. The fact that it didn't lose you the game is absolutely absurd. So, Tom Brady, second half, is going up on the trash list because it's almost unforgivable. They're so lucky he won that game, because if Tom Brady loses a game because he throws 3 interceptions in the second half, I mean, people are going to have a field day with it. We probably would have had a field day with it as well. But, he gets a win, so he kind of escapes that 3 interception game. But we're still going to put him on this trash list. He can still kind of earn his way off of it this season because he's playing in 2 weeks, which is good. So we'll either have Tom Brady cash or trash next week or 2 weeks in the Super Bowl, most likely. But Tom Brady in that second half was absolutely trash. He played like Drew Brees. I mean, Drew Brees, 3 interceptions in the game. Tom Brady, 3 interceptions in the game. Luckily, Tom Brady won. So Tom Brady in the second half is trash. And that's the only trash performance. So that's good. That's good. I don't want to see any trash out there. I do not want to see any trash. I would love to have an entire cash list that's off this page that we have to create a new page for. But, we don't have that. We got, 5 little players on here all being cash. Alrighty, so that is going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. We're back tomorrow with our film study. We're going to be dissecting all of Tom Brady. First half greatness, second half trash. We're going to look at the unstoppability of Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. We'll probably watch it in the coach's film. Why are these players getting open? What can the Bucs do to stop it? Because they didn't do it in the first game, as we said. Tyreek Hill, I mean, this stat line is absolutely ridiculous. 13 catches, 269 yards, and 3 touchdowns. It's unguardable, folks, like we've been saying all season. So that's what we got on the show tomorrow. Also covering basketball, obviously. And yeah, we'll be back, folks. We're here every day, folks. If you didn't know by now, every day, noon Eastern. Come on. You want to watch? Alrighty. You want to listen, really. You just want to listen. Podcasting apps, folks. We're there. Alrighty. We're out of here. We are now out of here. Truly out of here. Out of here right now. Alrighty. We're out.